Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So if you do not know me, my name is Alysha. I'm a Psych NP and I own a private practice, and I teach other Psych NPs how to find freedom and balance in their lives by opening their own private practices as well. Today, I am very lucky to have my dear friend joining us and co-mentor. We do a lot together. Kirby Williams. So Kirby runs the Liftoff program, which helps Psych NPs build clinical confidence and clinical skills. So she's the clinical side of NP mentorship. I'm the business side of NP mentorship. She owns a private practice. I have certain clinical skills, so we both help each other.
Yeah.
So welcome, Kirby. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. We're filming this YouTube video in celebration that we are going to do an event together this week. And it is an event that I've run in the past, which is a challenge that's focused on getting your life ready for private practice. And we talk about some of the major barriers that happen when someone's starting a private practice. So barriers with figuring out money, time, and confidence when it comes to being a new business owner. And so Kirby is joining me on day 3 when we talk about confidence, because we're speaking to the clinical confidence side as well as just confidence in general as someone working in mental health. Today, we're going to ask each other and chat about some frequently asked questions that we get as it relates to confidence within the Psych NP field. Imposter syndrome is thrown around, like that term is everywhere. And I guess I won't say thrown around. It's like appropriately how people feel. And it's how I definitely felt starting out. And still to this day have moments. So I think that it's an important topic.
Yeah. Same. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah. So it's an important topic. So Kirby, let's talk about a couple of confidence topics. Yeah.
Let's do it.
As it relates to mostly new Psych NPs, but also could be for new business owners too, of course. Kirby, we'll start with you. What daily or weekly practices help new Psych NPs build confidence safely?
Yes, very, very good question. So I could think of a lot of different things that would help, but I think of using some small habits throughout your week. So something that I do, even as someone who's been practicing for 14 years, is that I still listen to podcasts. A podcast that I frequently listen to is the Psychiatry podcast. They typically come out with one, I think like once a week, but they have so many that it's not like you could only listen to one once a week. You could probably listen to 7 a week if you wanted to, because they have so many episodes. But I think doing something like that, because you're continually getting new information, different information, expert perspectives, and you're getting that. You can do that while you're walking, while you're running, at the gym, driving to and from work. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. There's other podcasts as well, but that's just one that I think has a lot of gems, and it's pretty short. Typically, I would say most times like 8 to 15 minutes long. What about you, Alysha?
Yeah. I'm going to second that. That's a really good one. I think that quick, I remember I had maybe 2 years experience, and my drive to work was 15 minutes, and I'd be able to fit in a Carlat podcast in there. And when we were talking earlier in preparation for this interview, you mentioned things like Up to Date, Hippocrates, I know we both really like. So I think just being in the books.
Being in the books, yes.
Being in the books. Putting something into your mind, once or twice a week, and it'll build on itself. It's not like you have to, binge study. It's okay to kind of let things sit and marinate in there. I usually couldn't retain if I was trying to study stuff all day, every day. So a couple times a week, make sure I learn something new.
Yeah. And a lot of the podcasts, whether you listen to the Carlat podcast or there's another one, Dr. Pewter's Psychiatry and Psychotherapy podcast, if he has guests, or sometimes if they are referring to an article, they'll put it in the show notes. So then you could, once you got home later that day, like take a look at the article, review it, or sometimes they'll talk about websites or things like that they'll put in the show notes. You can go to that. So there's, ways to build on it, even if there's like, I want to dig a little deeper into that topic they talked about. Check out the show notes too.
Yeah. I like that. That's smart. So next one that we get a lot, what mistakes do you see new psych NPs make that are completely preventable? I think everyone's really scared of making a mistake. So what are some mistakes we see, and how does someone prevent that?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is trying to go it alone, no matter what you are trying to do. And this is also for psych MPs who have experience. So trying to even start a business alone without support, or without maybe talking or having conversations with other business owners who have a private practice. Maybe it's not a psych NP, but maybe there's a therapist you could speak to that has a private practice. There's probably some good tips, information, things they could direct you to. When you're starting off as a new grad and you may not have as much clinical experience and you're trying to go it alone, yes, you are using Carlat and, building on skills that way, but you also want to have people or someone that you can go to ask questions, to get that second, third, fourth opinion. Again, I have 14 years experience, but I still need a second, third, and fourth opinion sometimes, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I definitely have to phone a friend, especially someone that's even more skilled, skilled in a different area if I'm seeing a patient that's in an area that I don't see as much.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think phoning a friend. And yeah, I definitely in the beginning tried to do it alone too. Just like feeling like my questions were dumb, or that, I was nervous that someone would think I wasn't prepared enough if I asked them a question or something like that. And so that was hard because I was on a team that was kind of a mix of there were some people that were really solid to go to, and some people that I think maybe
might have
thought there were some dumb questions.
Yeah. But there's also some. Find your safe people.
You have to find your safe spot. And I think that's something Kirby and I talk about all the time is like her, she runs the Liftoff program, and that is something that I would have signed up for in a heartbeat back.
I would have signed up for in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think exactly where our mentorship comes from, is we're just like creating things that we're like, dang, I wish that someone had that, created for me. So it comes from that place. But yeah, I think doing it alone is a big one. So wherever you can find that support is your safe people. Yeah,
find your safe people.
yeah. Next one, what should new grads expect? I love this one. What should new grads expect emotionally in their first 6 months of practice?
Okay, well, you go first this time.
There's going to be tears. No.
There will. But it's okay.
I hate to say it, but it's okay. Like, I definitely, it's like, for me, it was like, because I cared so much. I really wanted to do right by my patient. And, it's a big responsibility. It's a big change from the RN role. And, maybe you've done the RN role for some time. At least I'll speak to my journey. I did the RN role for a little while. Felt comfortable. I would float to ped psych, geriatric psych, adult psych. Ped psych was my main spot, but I feel pretty good. I'd go be charge nurse or not be charge nurse. It was cool. But then moving into the provider role, it's like, wow, it's totally different. You're making decisions. I mean, we just covered this, but you're making decisions, quote, on your own, right? And it's scary. It's scary. So there absolutely were tears and a lot more naps than usual, and, a lot more need for self-care. And so I think that you can expect to have some emotional moments, because it's a big transition. Just like maybe other transitions in your life maybe might show how you'll handle this transition. I know that transition for me personally is always scary, so it was kind of like that. How about you, Kirby?
Yeah. So I think there's some big emotions that come up. Fear, even heaviness, because you talked about, Alysha, coming into a provider role where you are leading, we'll say, the treatment team, or leading the treatment for a person, and you are diagnosing and then leading the treatment as far as the medication or non-pharm treatments. That does feel heavy. And the reason it feels heavy, so I always tell people, it's going to feel heavy, and there may be tears, but just think back about the reason it feels heavy. It feels heavy because you do care. It feels heavy because you do take this seriously. And that is a good thing. It is good that you take it seriously. It is good that you think it is a big responsibility to give a diagnosis, to give a med, to give a recommendation. All of those things are big. They're not little things, and we should not take them lightly. So there are going to be some emotion there, but I also think it's good to talk about what are some good ways to also even combat some of those strong emotions that come up. And we already kind of talked about it a little bit, but have some safe people to talk to or to vent with. Even write or journal if that's your thing. It may not be your thing, but if it is, being able to write those things out. And then also when I talk about writing or thinking through things, also make sure that you're writing out some of your wins, because we're all having wins. Sometimes we think like, oh, it's not really that big of a win because it was small. Write it down, because they do add up. And if you're writing it down, you can reflect back on it when you're having a tough moment or a really heavy moment and say, oh man, I do remember Mr. Jones said that's the first time he really felt heard in an appointment. Because you wrote it down, you can reflect back on that and remember that, even if you're having a really tough moment, a couple of weeks later from that.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest recommendations I have given people in the past too, when it comes to combating imposter syndrome or combating not feeling confident, is not like a fake it till you make it, but honestly look at your track record and then it will show itself.
Yeah.
Patients most likely have told you something wonderful about your care. You've probably had some patient at some point in your RN career, in your NP career, probably had, a number of patients where you felt really good, where you were like, okay, yeah, I really made a difference and I felt good about that clinical decision. And like writing those things down is really, really helpful, because it's not faking anything. It's like, that's who you are and that's what you've done already. But it's easy to forget those things.
Right. Yeah. Because we're human and we think about like, oh, this is the thing we didn't do, or this is the thing we didn't do that well, or this is the patient when we had a tough encounter with. So just making sure that we do that. And if you can remember to do this, you probably should do it all the time, but probably especially in that first year, like every week, try to write down 3 things that went well, whatever that means to you. It could be you recommended an app to someone and they used it. It could be that you finished a note and felt really good about it. It could be that. That's cool. That's not a problem.
For sure.
That's a great thing. But
it is.
Just remember all the quote unquote little things. They're all things. Or that you were talking with a patient and you felt really good about not having to refer to a resource because you felt very, confident that this was the right way to go, and they felt excited about it and they really felt heard, or they mentioned that they felt heard.
Yeah. Good. What's our next one here? How can new grads create a support system if they don't have one built into their job? This is really common. Really common.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I will say there are now more jobs that don't have a built-in support system. And usually when I mention that to people, I always try to then come with saying, doesn't mean it's a bad job. Right. Sometimes they just ain't got it.
Yeah, maybe you're the first, you might be the first NP they've hired. You might be the first provider in general they've hired.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't have it. So it doesn't mean it's a bad job if they don't have it. Kind of it depends on the context of it all. And it depends on what they are, one, willing to do or willing to understand about what that means for you. So, if you don't have that in a job, then there's a couple of ways this could go. And I've seen people do this a couple of times. No one's ever invited me to one of them, but it's okay. But I've seen people do this a couple of times where like different colleagues from school, or maybe they worked together previously, they'll have a group chat that goes on, maybe about 4 or 5 people. And then they'll even meet like once a month or every other week and discuss cases, or just discuss the emotions that came up in the past 2 weeks or something like that. And so you can build a support system through that way. You could also build a good relationship with, if you're in a state where you need a collaborating physician, then you could maybe do some interviews with collaborating physicians and have some really specific targeted questions for them about what's their style, what's their availability, could they be open to X, Y, and Z if you feel like you need that? Meeting once a week for an hour. Let's just say that's what you feel like you need. It would be helpful to you. Are they open to that? You can ask them about that. And that's how you could build a support system that's not just, I have this collaborating physician who is just collaborating physician on paper, but you have an actual support system. Yeah,
absolutely. And those, I get the question a lot too, like with private practice feeling like like you're solo or you're alone. These things can happen in private practice too. They can happen as a new grad. They can happen in a new practice. So you mentioned, self-made case consult groups or, self-led, self-driven. You mentioned your collaborator. Another really good one are things like mine and Kirby's groups. If you guys are interested in having some type of support building your new business as a Psych NP, I'll drop below a link on how to get started with working with me. And then also if you're looking for some clinical support and want a formal case consult group, which Kirby's is, large, it's not too large, but it's established.
It's robust.
Yeah. It's not too many people. It's like you're going to get your questions answered. It's not super huge, it's personalized, but it's established and it has recorded videos and it has live calls. So if you're interested, I'm guessing maybe you're watching this video, probably you might be interested in helping build your clinical confidence in that way. Hers is a really, really good resource. I'll also drop how to get started with her in the description below too. But yeah, like a formalized space can be helpful too to get support.
Yeah, and it's okay if it's a formalized space, because you just have to think about what you need. And sometimes in the beginning, what you need is something maybe just more formal with a lot of resources, with someone you can tap into. But maybe after 6 or 7 months, you feel like, okay, I was able to make some other connections at work or within this professional organization that I got connected with. And now I have my non-formal, we'll call it informal group that I'm going to connect with. And that's okay too. Just know where you are at the moment. Doesn't mean you're going to be there, wherever there is, forever, but you could move through groups as you grow for whatever the reason that looks like, or you need to, depending where you are in your career. Because maybe then you'll get into a niche and now you need a group that focuses on eating disorders, because maybe now that's your niche or that's the setting you're working in. So now this group's not doing it because that's not their specialty. Now I need that kind of specific group.
That's the beauty of social media is, you can probably find a Psych NP that has some type of recorded material or, something in their specific niche. It's really cool what's out there and how much support you can get. I know I don't think it's Psych NP run, but like for an example, like if you want to learn more about perinatal psychiatry, you can do some of the PSI stuff. So I think that's a really good point. And like Kirby said, she runs the Liftoff program and I'm a co-mentor in there. And we have definitely seen people come in for a couple months, go out, come back, or stay for a year. It's really it's like a come as you need it, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And what you need and how long you need. So we had someone who stayed it was more than a year, and they got comfortable in their setting and they left, and then they came back because now they're in a new setting. Yeah. And they feel like, it's I'm gonna need a little bit more support because now I'm in this different kind of setting. So you can do that. That is, you're more than welcome to do it. And you may find that you might do that even in informal groups as well. Yeah. And I should correct myself. When I say a couple months, I mean 6 months, I think is your minimum now, because, you usually can't hop into a group for a month and get enough. Right. I typically recommend it. Yeah, I typically recommend at least 6, because I want you to get everything from the group, which means that yes, there are live videos, there's recorded videos, live meetings, but then there's also tons of templates and resources like cheat sheets and things like that. And the only way to really get through that is having some time to get through that. A month, you won't have time to get through all those different things and get everything you need from the discussion board and the live meetings.
Yeah, you'd really only have time to maybe hop into one thing and we want to, I know Kirby wants to set you guys up for success, so that's why it's set up that way. Cool. Alrighty, last question of the night. So, if you could tell every new Psych NP one thing before they start their career, what would it be?
Bum, bum, bum. I know. There's so many things, and I might even be picking the best one. I don't know. I'm just picking one. But one thing that I would say is that you know more than you think. I think a lot of times, and I know even from myself, using myself as the experience, is that we go in and we're like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything at all. But you do. There's things that you know. And what I would challenge you to do is that when you think that way, if it comes up, I want you to write everything you know. And you're going to get tired because you know a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know, like just say you're working in a space where you see, I don't know, I'm just going to say bipolar disorder. And you're like, I don't know anything at all. Write everything you know about bipolar disorder. Every single thing. Doesn't have to be complete sentences, anything like that. Just write every single thing. It could be about meds. It could be about questions to ask. It could be about assessments. Just write it down. Because what you're doing is you're proving yourself wrong. And this is like a psychotherapy worksheet that I've had some patients do. But I think we could do it for ourselves as well. And it's called Thought Court, where you take your thoughts to court. So your thought is, I don't know anything. But you take your thought to court and you ask your thought, oh yeah? Show me what you don't know. But
not guilty.
Not guilty. Exactly. So it's a way of combating that if that does come up where you're like, oh, I don't know anything, or I don't know anything about Jerry Psych or PEDS or whatever the case is. Write down everything you know. And that is going to remind you, oh yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I do know. No, you don't know everything because no one does, but you know some things. I promise.
Absolutely. Oh, that is Thought Court. I'm gonna have to host Thought Court with myself tonight.
Yeah.
It's such a good one to challenge.
Yes,
I love it. One new thing before they start their career. I'm gonna go with find your safe people, personally and professionally.
Yes.
Figure out your team. Figure out your squad. It's like who, even if they're not clinical at all. I have some friends that are working film and other stuff, and it's just like, but they can hold space for myself. It's like, and that's a wonderful thing, and I needed that at different points in my career. And then find your safe people clinically, just like we talked about earlier in this video, and I think that'll help protect you. Because sometimes your friends will hold Thought Court for you.
That's true. Like, that's true.
Alysha, is that really true?
Your friends can be your lawyer.
Yes, they can. They
can be the lawyer.
They can be the lawyer. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Kirby.
Yeah.
This was great. I hope that everyone got some good nuggets from this conversation today. And again, if you guys want to learn from us further, connect with us, information on how to do that's going to be in the description below. And Kirby is joining me on the Get Your Life Ready for Private Practice Challenge in December of 2025. If you're watching this after that, still get involved with us. Follow us on social media. Kirby and I regularly do stuff together, so I'm sure there's going to be something else coming up. So thank you all for watching, and thank you, Kirby, so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
All right, bye.